It's so easy for us often to forget that our environments and where we live are often either the cause of health or the cause of illness. 72% of the toxins we encounter are found inside of our homes. And the fact of the matter is that indoor air is often 2 to 5 times more polluted than the outdoor air. Your home can either fuel disease or it can create longevity. The environment you live in, the environment you spend time in, your home is 90% of that environment. So make that place where you invest. Make that place a space that your children, that yourself, that your kids, that your family thrive in. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Own It Show. I'm your host, Justin Roethlingshoefer, and it is so good to be with you today. First off, if it's your first time here, welcome to the Own It Show. This is a place where we really help keep tips of the spear people sharp, making sure that we're equipping you, educating you, and empowering you to take ownership of your health so that you can realize the impact and the level of influence that ultimately has been created for you. And I just get so excited if, again, first timers, make sure you put this into your stories, be able to make sure you comment, make sure that you just let me know how it's serving you, because the reason that I do this show is just to create content that is something that can really help people and take action in a very personalized way. And so today is an exciting episode. It comes off of a personal story. It comes off of, I think, something that a lot of people will find a lot of value in, because it's so easy for us often to forget that our environments and where we live are often either the cause of health or the cause of illness. And really what today's podcast episode, if you look at the title, it's home as a haven for health, healing or causing disease. What are we actually doing? What are we actually stepping into? And so for Lisa and I, this is something that's very, very meaningful to us, because the home that we currently live in is a home that we love to host in. And it's a home that we love to have people around. And when we first moved into our home, I think you've heard this story a year ago, was when we first moved into our home, it was a major fixer-upper, let's call it that. We'd come here and it was an acre property in the heart of Miami. Like, you just don't find that. It's very, very difficult to find that level of property and that level of land. But when we saw it, it was this jungle of a backyard and this beautiful big green acred area. And we're just like, man, what this could become. And then we saw the house, and the house needed some work, to say it kindly. There was air conditioners that had bees nests in them. There was light switches that God knows what they turned on and off. There was my mom came in and steam cleaned the floor and needed to go over it. I'm not lying, 18 times to get the grub of grime off of this thing. She cleaned the windows that had been boarded up for 10 years. Like, guys, disgusting. But the thing is that when we got the home, we got it from a man who actually had cancer. And when we moved in the back of my mind, it was theirs to like, did this home actually cause that for him? And as we put some things in, as we start to make some changes, we obviously got the house completely steam cleaned. We got the house completely made over. We redid the kitchen a little bit. We got new appliances. We got new air conditioners. We changed out a lot of the light fixtures. Just little things that we could do right away. We put a water filtration system in. Little things like this. But ultimately, over the course of the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, Elise and I start to feel exhausted, kind of unwell, to be honest with you, despite optimizing other areas of our lives, still focusing on the quality of food we were eating, supplementation, the workouts we were doing. And what we ultimately ended up finding was that our sleep quality was going down, while at the same time our HRVs were dropping. Our respiration rates were going up. Elise was feeling more fatigued. I was feeling more fatigued. And we started to say, I wonder if this house is causing us not to be well. And so we started to do a deeper dive. And even though we put a water filtration system on, we still looked and we found high levels of chlorine, high levels of fluoride in our water. We found that there was mold in the walls. We found that there was a poor air quality that we were breathing. We found that the pipes that were having our water that we were showering with had high pH levels, but also high levels of chlorine. And so we were like, you know what? We're going to take full ownership of turning our home from a source of sickness to a sanctuary for healing and high performance. We were already going to build the backyard. We knew what the backyard was going to look like. We knew that we were going to put a gym in. We knew we were going to put a sauna out and a cold plunge in. But we were going to make a stand for turning our home into a source and a sanctuary for healing and high performance. And so when we think about this, the unspoken truth about our homes is that this is not unique to Elise and I. 6 out of 10 Americans have at least one chronic illness. 42% of men and women in the United States will develop cancer in their lifetime. Conversations about chronic disease simply only focus on food, exercise, and medication. But what about where we live? What about where we spend 90% of our time? When we think about this, we spend 90% of our lives indoors, yet most of our homes are filled with hidden toxins that impact our longevity and energy and overall health. And so we have to come to this understanding and this thought process that if we don't actually take ownership of our home, if we actually just keep our head in the sand and don't try to get more aware, we're going to lean into this very simple place where there's some major issues. And so here's the science. Here's the truth and how our homes can either heal us or how they can harm us. The EPAs, okay, when we think about an EPA and the impact that these EPAs have. So EPA stands for Environmental Protection Agency, basically a United States agency that protects human health and the environment. When we think about the EPA, what they say is that 72% of the toxins we encounter are found inside of our homes. I'm pausing for a purpose, some major effect here. 72% of the toxins we encounter are found inside of our homes. And the fact of the matter is that indoor air is often 2 to 5 times more polluted than the outdoor air, especially when you go into northern climates, places where your windows are locked up, your windows are closed. Think about it even in the southern states where you keep the windows closed because you got the air conditioning blasting in the summer. And so these are the things that really come back to this. And so these hidden culprits that sometimes we forget about are things that are flame retardant, things that actually push flames off so we actually don't that they don't catch flames, phthalates, VOCs, mold, off-gassing furniture. These are all things that start to create major issues. And studies link household toxins to reproductive issues, to cognitive decline, to respiration diseases, and even cancer. And so when we started to sit into this and we started to be like, man, this isn't just something that is a potential. This is something that is real. This is something that we are really needing to get our eyes around. We ended up really leaning in and knowing that, hey, the big plan for us was to renovate our entire home in about 5 to 10 years. Like literally take this thing from the 2,000 square feet that it is, turn it into a 5,500 square foot home, put 2 stories on it, really take it down to the studs and build it all the way back up. But we knew immediately that we were going to do an entire backyard project, turn it into something really special, a haven for health. We knew very, very quickly we were going to do the things that were necessary in order to transform our home into that same haven for health. And so here's where we started. Here's what we did. And I want to empower you on this because you need to realize that this wasn't a $500,000 project. This wasn't even a $100,000 project. This wasn't even a $50,000 project. This was something that you can do and make really small changes for hundreds, if not very minimal thousands of dollars just by getting really clear on what it is that you need to do. And so what we did was we put a air quality and filtration system in. So we installed a HEPA, HEPA, air purifier. And so when you think about HEPA air purifiers, we made sure that it had a really purposeful and intentional goal for us. And so when we think about this, the best HEPA air purifiers that we've been able to find, there's really 3. So number 1 is Puro Air, Puro air, so Puro air. Something that we really, really loved, was great for our home. The other one that we looked at was Miko, Miko. Again, it was nice and quiet, really high powerful. And then the third one was Fulminaire, Fulminare, Fulminaire. And so these were the air purifiers that we put in there. Number one, we wanted to make sure that we chose non-toxic materials. So things that would not impact, like making sure the air purifier was not of a toxic type of material, making sure it wasn't giving off more EMF radiation, making sure it wasn't doing things of that nature. So really making sure we did this. The second thing was when we started to choose paint and we redid the entire kitchen, we made sure that we chose non-toxic paint, and that we asked those questions when we were getting our paints done. Because again, we redid the whole kitchen. It was a ugly brown before. We turned it into a nice bright white because white reflects sunlight, so it makes it feel brighter in there during the day. And then we maximized ventilation and natural airflow. What we did by that was we installed fans, fan in the kitchen, fan in the bedroom, fan in the living room, and then fan in each of the offices. And the reason that we did that was when your fans are on, it continues to create circulation of those air quality filters. So you're getting double the level of filtration that we needed, which was amazing. And so that was something that was, again, critically important for us, because at the end of the day, air is something that we need. We know, we talked about it when we talked about VO2 max, is if you are able to get a really high quality oxygen efficiency, it's going to increase your ability to actually function, increase your ability to utilize air and utilize oxygen, which is something critical for sustaining life. The second thing we did was we put a water filtration system in, and we used something called water drop. And the reason that we did this was we didn't want to do something that went into the entire house. We wanted to be able to do something that was very purposeful, very inexpensive, something that could start us right away. Because when we tested our water, like I said, it was high in bromine, it was high in fluoride, and it was high in chlorine. And so we don't want to be drinking that water. And so as soon as we put water drop on, as soon as we put water drop on, we retested the water, and every single level was in its ideal range. And so we were like, wow, this is really, really incredible. As soon as we did that, we thought about the water in our showers, and we went and got Jolie, Jolie, Jolie water filtration heads, because we weren't going to put it on our entire water filtration system on our entire home yet, but we still wanted to be aware of what we were doing. And so we put the Jolie water filtration heads on. And as soon as we did that, again, we tested the water, the chlorine was gone, and it was incredible. It was incredible to see the difference that we actually felt in the span of like 24 to 48 hours. Because again, I'm showering probably 4 or 5 times a day, given how many times I train and I'm working out and being in the hot and humid Florida. And so that was really, really amazing. The other thing that we did when we put the water drop on, as well as the Jolie water heads, was we tested for heavy metals and PFAs that immediately were gone as well. So that was really, really powerful. Something else that we did when we were starting to buy furniture was we wanted to look at ultimately furniture that was non-toxic and organic materials for our furnitures, because so often there's materials that are made from synthetic fabrics. There's things that are made with formaldehyde, believe it or not. All of these different flame repellent fabrics give off certain gases. And so we actually went into a company called Natuzzi. And Natuzzi has just done an amazing job of putting high quality fabrics together and making sure that they were really, really purposeful. And Natuzzi has a new collection actually focused solely on health. And that was something that I really liked. I know I spoke for them during Furniture Week up in North Carolina. And they've just done an amazing job in really loving the concept of health. And so this is why we wanted to support them, because not only is it the quality of materials they use, but also the ergonomic factors in which they're looking at. That was really, really powerful. So switching our furniture materials. Then we went to lighting. And we got rid of all LED lights. And the reason we got rid of all LED lights was LED lights contain blue light, which obviously keep us awake, keep us just alert, and don't allow us to calm down, relax, and decompress, especially at night. We all know what it's like when you turn these LED lights on. It's literally blowing right into your face. And so that was the number one thing that we did. The other thing that we did was we made sure that we installed dimmer switches on each and every one of our on our lights, so that we could make sure that we were putting as much light down as we could at night. So turning it again into this sanctuary just for healing. The other types of lights that we got salt lights or salt lamps, where again, it's just a nice low glow at night. And then we got non-scented candles. Yes, non-scented candles, because scented candles actually send up into the air again, thinking about the air quality. So we got salt lamps as well as non-scented candles for the house. Then we did in our bedroom for sleep optimization, we put an 8 sleep mattress cover down. So we were able to regulate hot and cold temperatures. I'm a guy that loves to sleep cold. Elise is a gal that likes to sleep hot, and really making sure that she could, that we each could optimize for how we were sleeping. And that was just, again, something so critical that changed everything for us, was using this 8 sleep mattress, really being able to control that. The second thing we did was in our bedroom, we got these EMF mitigation bags. So what they are is EMF blocking bags. That's what we put our phones in at night next to our beds. We got those from dreamrecovery.io. Dreamrecovery.io. Again, use the code OWNIT. I think they give you a 20% discount or something. But not only do we get our red light blockers or blue light blocking glasses from there, but we also got our eye masks from there. We also got those EMF blocking bags that we put all of our phones in when we go into the bedroom at night in there as well. We also put a timer on our wireless router, and the timer shuts off the Wi-Fi from 11 at night to 6 a.m. And so for 7 hours, there's no wireless Wi-Fi in our home, and thus there's also no EMF radiation, which is a high level radiation that we often suffer from there. So that was again things that we did within the bedroom and things to optimize the environment there. And then we also got a dehumidifier, which being in down in Florida, you've got this dehumidification or humidification of the air that's constantly there. So we made sure we got that done as well. And that was really the first stage, the first step of turning our home into a haven for health and making sure that what we were doing was so purposeful and intentional. The crazy part was after literally 10 days after all of those changes were made, Elise noticed a 70% increase in her HRV. Guys, she has never been at 70 or greater. She hasn't been below 70 for the last 7 months. Like that's unheard of. Like, you're telling me environment doesn't have an impact? This girl has been working out. This girl has been eating well. This girl has been supplementing well. This girl has been focused so heavily on her sleep for ever since I've known her. And she's always been in that. When we first got together and started dating, she was like all about this, and she was like low 30s. As she started to train differently, eat differently, she got into the mid 50s. But my gosh, guys, since she's changed the environment in which she was in, she's now in the 70s. And this is just something that continues to help her feel well, continues to help her change. Even myself, I noticed that myself, I usually have an average about 104, 105. And I had dropped down into the 80s for a long time. when we first moved into the home. And now, again, I'm constantly up in the low 100s. And so that's the cool part, is that we have now a language that can give us an indication as long as we're willing to listen to it and make changes. Now, here's something that I'm going to give you a little insight into, and I'm going to take you on this journey. I've promised you this since December, is we are actually doing a full backyard project. And this backyard project is turning not only the inside of our home into a haven for health, but the outside of our home into a haven for health. And so we've got this whole project set up, and we're really excited to share about this, because not only are we doing this in our Miami home, but we have a home in Mont-Tremblant, Quebec, up in Canada in the mountains, that we have turned into a haven for health as well. And the cool part about this is that all Own It clients are going to have access to these, but the Haven for Health home in Tremblant, we are going to start giving people access to go and stay in this home, to go up there and ski and enjoy the outdoors and enjoy the mountain spaces. And that home up in Canada, it's got everything you could imagine, from a sauna to a cold plunge to red light to low PFA pans to the entire inside, just done up exactly like we just talked about the Miami home. But you can rent it and stay there and have this whole health experience up in the mountains of Canada. And really excited to share that with you. But I want to take you on a journey as to what we're going to be doing in the outdoors. Because when it comes to outdoor optimization, we need to extend health beyond the walls of our home. As we started to look at our home, we knew we were going to do something in the backyard. But when we started telling people plans, they were like, my gosh, this almost 5X's the size of your house, because you're giving yourself so much more outdoor space to play in, to be in, to experience, to host in, to have different moments. And I hadn't really ever thought about it that way. But when we intentionally build the outdoor of our home, the space of our home, to be in a place that we enjoy, that we love being, it increases our ability to actually spend time out there and find health wherever we are. And so I want to take you through what we're actually doing and what is in the process, so that you guys can see the intentionality again behind this, but even more so, knowing what could maybe inspire you and where you're going. And so our backyard, we are going to turf the entire backyard. But the reason when we say turfing it, it's not going to be with the typical turf you see. It's going to be non-toxic, organic materials that are going to optimize grounding. So we know that grounding effect happens when you put your feet on the bare ground and you have this electric charge that basically detoxifies and demagnifies your body, helping with cellular healing. So we are going to get specific turf that helps with that. We already have a home gym built in the backyard. I've done a session that I talked about how we built that, what I put into it, what was purposeful, what was intentional, everything from the sled, everything from the weights, everything from the bike, from the rowing machine, the ski erg, the eccentric weight machine, so that we didn't have constant pounding on our joints. We've already done that. We've already put the sauna in. We've already got the sauna from Sisu Sauna. We've already got the chili dip cold plunge, which we keep at about 54 degrees. We've already got the hyperbaric oxygen chamber for recovery. We've already got the Mito red light for cellular health recovery. We've already got those things put in. But being able to now build around this is really cool. And as we go and put turf in through everything, we're going to have intentional outdoor experiences. And so when you first walk into the backyard, there's going to be a yoga and breathwork corner, kind of like a little meditation area where there's going to be a little water feature. There's going to be rocks, areas for about 12 yoga mats where you can stretch, where you can just breathe, where you can lay directly on the turf. There's going to be a meditation and reading deck underneath the banyan tree. So it's going to be about 400 square feet underneath this 250-year-old banyan tree. It's going to be all uplit. It's going to be beautiful, where you can literally go under there and do all your meditation and reading under there. There's going to be hanging egg chairs, little tables that you can just sit at. Really cool, purposeful spaces that you can have a really cool and unique moment. There's going to be social spaces. So there's going to be an area where there's a pergola that from Pergolux that actually goes to a flush roof to actually where it rotates and allows all the sun to come in. So you can allow sun exposure or non-sun exposure. There's going to be a bunch of couches around underneath that pergola that you will be able to host at and have fun at. Then right next to that, we're putting in an outdoor kitchen. And if you need any outdoor kitchen needs, you have to go to RTA Outdoors. RTA Lifestyle, RTA Living. So it's ready to assemble is what RTA stands for, but ready to assemble living. Let me get the exact website for you. RTA Outdoors, I believe it is. Yes, rtaoutdoorliving.com. And if you go there, what they do is they customize turnkey solutions for your outdoor needs. So whether that is a barbecue area, whether that's a bar area, whether that's a sitting area, whether that's an outdoor kitchen, whatever that is, but they put in the outdoor kitchen. And this outdoor kitchen has a green egg. It has a flat top Blackstone. It has a full grill in it. It has a pizza oven. It has the full bar area. It has an island area. It has a little hosting area on the other side. All non-toxic materials, all high quality, all custom built, all based off of natural gas so that we can make sure that we're hosting people in the best place possible. Again, we put that underneath the pergola so that we could make sure that we could get the maximal sun that we needed. And so these are the things that I wanted to make sure you could really do in a very purposeful way. And really just think about the experiences that you're creating in the backyard. Experiences are giving you a space beyond the home so that as you lean into this, it really allows you to expand where you're at. And so as we kind of move into this on top of, and I hope this podcast gets you thinking, like really inspiring you for what you're trying to do with your home, how you're trying to create this awesome space. Because for Elise and I, this was a vision that we had when we first came here, but little did we know that our home was making us sick. And it had been a home that in past years had made people sick. Quite frankly, took somebody out of the state of cancer. And so I hope this podcast really inspires you to think about your home differently, think about your space differently. And I've got a book recommendation for you. And it's called Place as Medicine: How Our Homes Can Make Us Sick or Help Us Thrive, by Carrie Denning Jackson. So Place as Medicine: How Our Homes Can Make Us Sick or How They Can Help Us Thrive, by Carrie Denning Jackson. And this was a book that, again, just really kind of inspired me to start thinking about this differently, and how this really started to work. And what I'm going to do for the last little part of this podcast is just list out a whole bunch of options that you can utilize and brands that you can go to. So for the healthy furniture and materials, Cisco Home is a great place. Medley, Alchemist Paint, Keems, InnoStar, all great for healthy furniture and materials for the inside of the home. Things that Elise and I used. The water filtration system, like I said, Beyond O2. Berkey is a great one, as well as Water Drop. I mentioned that previously. Non-toxic building materials, if you're wanting to look and you're actually building your home. Shiku, SHIKKUI, plaster instead of using drywall. Cork flooring, wool insulation, air filtration, IQ Air, Austin Air, Air Doctor, all great options. I listed those other three up above when we were talking specifically about the ones Elise and I used. Lighting, biological bulbs is a great one. Full spectrum lighting. And then obviously for red light therapy, you're looking at Mito Red Light. And then when you're looking at your outdoor health optimization, like when you're really looking at building it, the RTA outdoor kitchen, the chili dip cold plunge, the hyperbaric oxygen therapy from O2 oxygen. You can look into Hypoxico. You can look at Sisu Sauna. And these are just some of the things that we can really put into play so that your home can be a space for healing and not a space for decay. Because at the end of the day, Elise and I learned that the hard way, is we've made a conscious choice, an intentional effort to make not only our home here in Miami a haven for health, but even the place that now we get to share with people up in Tremblant, a haven for health. And this is something that I think we often forget, the impact that we can have. And so your home can either fuel disease or it can create longevity. Your home can either be a space that fuels discomfort and fuels dysfunction, or a place that helps you thrive. And at the end of the day, you don't have to go all in like we did. You can make small iterative changes. They really start to add up. If you're sitting here and you go, man, you know what? We should just get our water tested. We've never had that water tested. Go do that today, because that could be a big impact. You drink half your body weight in ounces of water. You shower every single day. It might be just starting with a Jolie head shower head on all your water, on all your heads, and putting a new water filtration system in underneath. That could be your start, and it could make such a big difference, but small changes add up. And so I want you to encourage you to start with one today. What is that one going to be? And I want you to comment on this podcast. I want you to maybe go to the comments section of this podcast and say, this is what I'm starting with, or post this onto your social media and share it with somebody who you care about and say, this is where I'm starting. Because when your home supports your health, you show up as the best self in every other area of your life. We know what home is all about. Home is where the heart is. And if we can protect the heart, we can ultimately heal. And so I want you to really just share this episode with somebody. Share this episode with somebody who needs to hear this message. If you want to, tag me on Instagram with your biggest takeaway from this, because I want to see people heal. I want to see tip of the spear sharp. I want to see people educated, empowered, and equipped to take ownership of your health. And so if you want some more information on this, if you want more help on this, be sure to just DM me Haven when you go onto Instagram. DM me Haven, and I'll be able to give you any type of insights, any more that I can that I haven't already given you through this podcast. But I want to make sure that we equip you to take ownership of your health. I want to make sure we equip you to set up your home as a place where you can truly heal, that you can find health in a big, big way. And I'm excited to take you on this journey. You're going to start seeing a lot of this on my social media as we start to do a lot of the work in the backyard, as you start to see some of the things and the building that goes on. But even on the inside, I need you to realize that it starts with one step. It starts with the first action. And what is that first step for you today? What does that look like for you? Because the environment you live in, the environment you spend time in, your home is 90% of that environment. So make that place where you invest. Make that place a space that your children, that yourself, that your kids, that your family thrive in. And you'll be surprised about what just one choice can do for you. We know at the end of the day, success is different. So own your different. I'll see you guys next week.